Overblood 2, the overly ambitious title coming out 2 years after Overblood 1 in 1998, with Akihiro Hino playing a major role in its creation, from writing the screenplay, lead of game design, and especially director. This is one of his early, if not first, games he created with such a massive role. Even with all the game's problems, Akihiro Hino filled Overblood 2 with style and imagination, even if the game industry's technology wasn't up to snuff yet. In fact, the story concepts in Overblood 2 seem to be heavily influenced by Final Fantasy VII. But my opinion is that Overblood 2 was surprisingly very influential on the next 20 years of Hino's career. From the ingenuity and creativity that every title he's ever worked on exudes. Part 1 goes more into detail about the games he created, but this is the first real game he had creative control over. You know, before he became the CEO of Level 5 Studios. Overblood 2 is now an action-adventure game, getting rid of the terrible tank controls, but not some of the other problems. All the models are better, but Overblood 2 is actually worse than the original Overblood. Imagine Devil May Cry on the PS1. Before every fight you have to select your weapons, but they don't stop attacking you while you select weapons or reload your guns. Or let's say just about anything you do really involves going into a menu that doesn't pause the game. But good news, you do get a lock-on system, but you can't move while locked on. You would think this makes the game hard, but no, it's easy as hell. Even with you constantly getting hit and being forced to stand still, there's no real challenge, mostly because you have such a massive amount of options at your disposal. You do have movement options. They're not exactly implemented well for combat or technically even platforming, but they're still extremely versatile. All stemming from Overblood 2's surprisingly good RPG mechanics that weren't seen on consoles at this time, utilizing elements like gear, weapons, and shops. Not making the number go up per se, but to change your passive abilities, offering many levels of exploration and combat versatility. Because all the equipment and weapons used have different properties that I'll be getting to more in depth as they're used throughout the playthrough. At times feeling like an old school boomer shooter with a lot of destructible environments, weapons hidden behind platforming, hidden walls, and exploitable mechanics. Which is important if you want to experience everything Overblood 2 has to offer. While almost nothing is implemented well, Overblood 2 is surprisingly innovative in its approach to mission design, almost at the level of games like Deus Ex or a Hitman at times. Overblood 2 does things that aren't even done today, but you got to remember, it's a PS1 title, so while it sounds like I'm praising it in some ways, it's all a bit scuffed, especially since you can only get it to run at like 24 frames a second. And like usual with this series, all the cool aspects are implemented poorly, like mandatory secrets to finish a level with incredibly horrible levels of equipment management, and the fact that most levels, if you're not paying attention to briefings, or just don't know what you're going to have to do in that level, you can be trapped. Without the knowledge of what to do next, you can only prepare so much. Which means you can get hard stuck, but usually the worst will be you'll get soft locked. Like when you need a rocket launcher to deal with this problem. While you can do it with hand grenades, I wouldn't recommend it. It's about the same level as trying to stop your lawnmower blade with your dick. It might work, but is it really worth it? So, unless you're religiously following a walkthrough or just love trial and error, struggling having to redo large portions of the game over and over again. And that's if it even works. I want you to remember that because there was a reason Overblood 2 wasn't released in America, but had 2 EU releases. The hero Arcano just moved to the city of West Edge from the small town of Greyland to be a junk blade racer, the usual small town boy trying to become a star in a big city. But before he can even leave the airport, his adventure begins, meeting an old man.
I'm from Greyland.
Ah, Greyland. There's still some beautiful country left there. A sleepy little place where a man can live a simple life.
Sleepy? Try dead. Nah, East Edge is where the action is. I'm going to be a junk blade star.
Junk blade racer? I see.
Yeah, I'm the best. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be the next world champion. You'll see. I'll show 'em all.
Like any JRPG, it all starts small, with a hitman, Hondo, coming to capture him. Arcano and the secret agent named Chris, a member of the ITP, are the only people that can help, but after getting his unknown device, Hondo, the monster assassin, chases Arcano.
Be sensible. Give me the capsule back.
You're crazy!
Now, give me the capsule. Get him. Had a nice run? The capsule.
Get back. I've got a gun.
I know. It's a nice weapon. What are you going to do with it? Shoot me?
Gonna fly.
Washed up on shore, Arcano's adventure begins, meeting an old friend, Raz Carsey.
Did you ever know anyone with a recorder like this?
No. Can't say I've seen it before. No.
I think. That's not his voice. It might not even be the hero of Overblood 1, considering all the cloning that happened there. So who knows? This Raz being the old man's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and with Raz being too old, needs a little help from Arcano, recruiting him, promising to fund his dream of becoming a junk blade racer. If they succeed, breaking into a major company's building, we need to steal a map, robbing government secrets from a man named Navarro Jean. But before that, let's explore Raz's bar. Apparently he kept that statue that killed him in the original Overblood. And it works the same way. So they knew this infamous statue was important, stopping many playthroughs like mine. This is actually great fan service. Not that kind of fan service. So finally, we're into the actual gameplay. From the very first scene, the options open up. We have two ways in: hookshot or swimming through shark-infested water to enter through the submarine base. Using the really cool mechanic in the facility, you can find ice and heat pack. Now, it's not used to cure your back pain, but it can be used on the water to freeze or evaporate, meaning no more sharks. With weapons and items all over, exploration is key, like finding explosives, weapons, and most importantly, key cards, alongside abusing preparation, making level 1 easy because I bought an anti-gravitational device. Fuck, it's another reference to the first game. It is easily one of the most important purchases you'll make all game, since it makes the platforming and dodging attacks way easier, and allows access to hidden and hard to reach items. Accessing the power room, we have two options: get a key card or just shoot out the window. Guess which one I took? It's even the recommended route to shut off the power. Now, opening the vault, stealing the map, and fighting our first boss, a security robot.
What's that?
Intruder! Intruder! Eliminate! 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 Eliminate!
I was nearly there. That was dangerous. Huh? Ah!
Meeting Navarro Jean and Peepo. Let's just say Navarro isn't happy with our plan to steal his map to infiltrate the pagoda, a government facility that the old man Velker Cruz works at. But with all the protagonists finally meeting up and the international police showing up in force, Navarro and Arcano work together to fight them off and escape. All because the ITP are out to find and capture the group of badass scientists.
Why would ITP want you dead? What's this all about?
We have information that directly links them to an international criminal organization plotting to control this country and the rest of the world. Only they're not sure if we remember what we know, and neither are we.
The Overblood crew are all together now working to infiltrate the pagoda, but working with very little information, since the three scientists Raz, Navarro, and Velker all had their memories wiped. Here we get this Raz's backstory. Now it's hard to say if this really happened, but there's massive differences between what happened at the end of Overblood 1 to Raz and his story here, meaning it's possibly a retcon that this is the same Raz. Overblood 2 Raz could possibly be another clone, if not the original. If that's the case, meaning Overblood 1 had two clones, the good and bad Raz. Overblood 2's Raz could be another clone escaped from another facility, with the two other scientists Navarro and Velker instead of shooting them like he did in Overblood 1. The problem with all of these theories is with the manipulation of memories. So there's the possibility that one Raz is living happily ever after with Millie still. Especially considering Overblood 2's Raz's escape is much different. But all of this goes out the window when you realize this could all be a mistranslation. The interviews state that the voice acting and translation was a bit rough. So unless you can speak Japanese, the original intention could be going right over our heads. So now that we've had our minds broken with theory crafting on two games no one's ever played, let's get back to the story. While the rest of the team is ready to go to the pagoda, Arcano decides to go living his dream on becoming a junk blade racer. Being met with a vision of his sister being kidnapped, asking for his help. She's at the pagoda and his sister Nita needs his help. The pagoda is a large facility. You'll be using all three of your members, Navarro, Arcano, and Chris, to activate 3 computers all at once to get past security, utilizing a feature from GTA 5, switching between characters at any point. Now it's not that special, it's been used in other games like Martian Gothic and Final Fantasy VI. This is where creativity and exploration shine though. Exploration is so incredibly rewarding. I got me some of the best weapons I could find, a hand bazooka and a super lightsaber, a shit ton of ammo and healing items, being rewarded for thinking outside the box, like freezing an unstoppable robot in the lake before it can even take action, or on lava completely nullifying with a freeze pack, completely stopping a puzzle from even existing, wearing insulated boots to walk across electrified pipes to dodge encounters and sequence break using a hook shot creatively. But if you fuck up like me, it's very close to soft locking because I sent a platform back and couldn't return. So when I needed to go back and get oil, not only did I need to fix the soft lock, but I needed to backtrack the entire level.
What? 'Cause 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 'c
My personal favorite was using the air breather underwater. It's designed so you're supposed to wear it the entire time, giving you more oxygen, but... all I did was unequip it right as my air meter filled up, so I never wasted my oxygen tank. So I had time to find everything underwater. Like I said, for all of its problems, Overblood 2 rewards creative thinking, and we will keep talking about it more as we go. Honestly, for a PS1 title, if it wasn't so jank, it would be a classic. It's so enthralling to think of something and it works, even better than you imagined. But then the jank rears its ugly head. When during a fight you need to pull up a menu to reload your lightsaber in a boss battle. But nothing compares to what's coming. You see, there's a reason Overblood 2 has never been heard of. It's because it got recalled in Europe. It is the reason it probably didn't come out in America. I call it an S-class glitch. In the original version, when you go into this room, this explosion would crash the game 100% of the time. Most early walkthroughs that you still see online never even got past episode 2 because of this. Unless you got a specific copy that the Gaming Brit and a few others go into heavier detail about. So your best way to play Overblood 2 is through emulation, or finding that specific version. This S-class glitch is the biggest thing this game is known for, and is one of the worst glitches ever released in a buyable game up until Steam Indie sales. I mean, how many games can you name that legitimately didn't work at all because of a glitch that happens 100% of the time? So, destroying the 3 computers, the crew find what Velker saw.
After analysing deficiency, we have prioritised short-term stabilisation by controlling efficient functionality of key point atmospheric cooling systems on this planet. At the present rate of consumption, calculations prove the energy needed to maintain these systems will be depleted in 3,650 Earth days.
The mega factories can only produce oxygen for 10 years, and after that, the world dies. So, Hayano Industries have a plan to make a spaceship to get all the important people off this world. Isn't this a Roland Emmerich movie plot? They're even making clones like Rerez in the first game in case they get to a new world and they have to defend themselves with super mutant alien soldiers. Hayano plans on using what's left of Earth's power supply on this massive spaceship to leave the atmosphere, leaving us with even less time to save the human race. While leaving, Kondo.
All right. Who are you?
Whoa. I know this guy. He's the creep who kidnapped Dr. Velter at the airport.
Yeah, the genetic freak.
I'm so touched you both remember me so well, but the creep and freak remarks weren't really very nice. I prefer to be called Kondo.
Ambushes the squad, forcing Arcano into a 1v1 with the genetic freak. Kondo, the alien mutant hybrid assassin, is a surprisingly easy boss fight. Eat this lightsaber, asshole. Even though I was never hit, Arcano still loses, only being saved by his sister. His dead sister.
Nina, I'll help you. Don't go. Nina! Nina! Well, answer this. Where's my sister?
Arcano,
Nina, be quiet. Nina is dead.
Bullshit! I saw her. She's here. You just talked to her. I just talked to her.
She's dead. She died many years ago from a procedure.
Procedure? What do you mean? What are you saying?
Nina was born with special powers. The procedure she underwent was supposed to isolate the elements that created those powers and make it available to others. But the experiment failed, and Nina was too weak to survive.
No, no, no! She's alive! I saw her! I saw her!
Think about what you just saw. If Nina were alive, she'd be a few years younger than you are now, but you see her the same age she was when the kidnapping occurred, when she died from the procedure. What you saw was merely a computer projection of your sister.
No! No!
What's this?
Ah, so you're that one.
Ah! Yeah!
Huh? Ah! Your power is already formidable.
The race against time has begun, and surprisingly looking for a ship capable of holding 20,000 people is harder than you would think. Arcano begins his search for information. Arcano finds a dude in the street, who might be a bum, who used to be a chief engineer at Hayano, giving him the 50k creds that Arcano is going to use to enter himself into the Junkblade circuit. We do get a lead though, a treasure hunter, a very, very drunk man.
According to me, there should be something mysterious hidden in the East Edge underground.
What is it?
Who do you think I am?
But very helpful, finding where the ship is quickly. It's underneath West Edge itself. After running this information by the crew, putting together all the information we gathered, we have our next mission, to enter the subway. Hayano uses the trains to transport material to build the ship in secret, so now it's time to go into the subway with Arcano. We're given the choice to pick anyone, but the main character has explosive resistant armor, so guess who I picked? This is when the RPG mechanics start to shine, since we finally have the money to prep for a mission, purchasing blast-proof armor to fight enemies with rocket launchers up close, damaging themselves and allowing for straight-up rocket jumps to reach higher up platforms, used in conjunction with shock-absorbing shoes taking away all fall damage. The suits and shoes you wear have passive effects that change gameplay dramatically, but most have very specific uses, so be careful with how you spend money. You do get the option to restart the mission from town, just in case you need to purchase gear that you don't have, so you don't technically softlock the game. You can buy weapons too, but if you're combing the level for everything, you'll be fine, acquiring the big Magnum very soon. Now, very deep into the subway, Arcano finds a secret base after a very unlucky train ride. Here we can exploit our explodable outfit, because everything here needs to be blown up. Even ourselves. If you ever come across something and it looks like it's in your way, just throw explosives at it. Needing even bigger explosives like at this door. You'll be blowing up everything to make progress. Like the back of this truck, random cases, a giant Metal Gear. Remember, this is all progress, not just for secret items. Blow it all up. This is all intended. As a matter of fact, if we didn't have the anti-gravity device and the shock-absorbing shoes, I don't even know if we could get this gold key card. For a PS1 title, Overblood 2 is surprisingly vertical. After entering the gold door and dealing with the unreliable grappling hook mechanic, we finally destroy the anti-proton core, crippling their space arc. As Arcano leaves, he runs into that one asshole from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Surprisingly, even easier here.
Well, what shall we do now? Ah, that's it.
To escape, we get our first chance to experience Junk Blade racing with the master Junk Blader himself. Handles like a dream. Getting help from a mysterious stranger.
Is everything alright?
Who are you?
Those guys were hogging the lanes. Kim Osaka's the name. You can thank me later, over a cold one. But right now, we're gonna fly. See you later!
Ken Ozaka, the badass that not only saved Arcano, but back in the day saved our crew of scientists. Our local 007 also is the bearer of bad news. The anti-proton core we destroyed was a fake, so the last mission was for nothing. But Pierce Brosnan gives us a bit of a reality check.
By the way, I heard you intended to destroy the shuttle. But then what were you going to do? Without the ship, it was likely that all the people would have died there.
You're right. The destruction of the ship would have meant the extinction of humans. But we knew all that. Only a small proportion of people could be saved with the ship anyway.
In 10 years' time, the air cooling system won't be able to cool down the Earth anymore, and people would die. But if we can change that, so that the air cooling system won't come to an end, the problem would be solved.
The whole drive is a theoretical ancient Iron Man arc reactor, generating almost unlimited power. A researcher almost completed her name, Dr. Marius. But she disappeared along with her research and the whole drive. Hayano Industries has a major part for the whole drive. A chip. Good when you have a spy and the fact that Hayano likes dance parties.
By the way, I scheduled a dance party. Interesting, isn't it?
Dance party?
We will have all the guests to dance in the hall. Do you think the bastards are able to dance? They're like ordinary people from downtown. They're not ballroom dancers like us. So they'll definitely be identified straight away.
It's of course the only true way to find a terrorist, since it's common knowledge that terrorists can't dance. So let's purchase a dance outfit and burn passionately on the dance floor. Unless you have a problem like I do, where none of the prompts appear. That's when we cheat. Pick the hardest difficulty and hold all the buttons down. Everything seems to register and we get the perfect score.
I'm done. Agano, you were wonderful!
After a very classy dance sequence, we are chased into a very unfair instant death sequence, where not only are you forced to take damage, if you make the wrong turn, you instantly die. In all fairness, this level takes place across 2 screens with a few hidden items, with another easy boss fight.
Gentlemen, I heard you had to run. I enjoyed your dancing so much inside that I thought maybe you could show me some steps out here. I'll provide the music with this.
Remember to use healing items in the menu and then use the big magnum like you're Barry Burton and kill this boss.
I can't believe I got capped by a guy who can waltz.
With the whole drive being the only way to save humanity, Ken actually knows his location. But an infinite energy resource isn't going to turn over like a Ford Explorer. So Arcano and Chris need to break into Inescapable Prison and rescue Veltor Curtis. So let's take the next half hour searching town for a parachute. It's very important, trust me. If you don't have a parachute and a flamethrower, you actually can't finish this level. And this may be the only prison that's harder to break into than escape. With instant death, quicksand pits, robotic T-Rexes, anti-gravitational devices, floating islands that can only be navigated with the parachute, and only after the destruction of the anti-gravitational device. Even the plant life decides to get in on the action. That's why we need a flamethrower. with even more floating islands with hurricanes surrounding them like we're in fucking Pandora. Then having a guard dog robotic saber-toothed lion guarding the entrance. And there's even more traps inside. Starting to hunt for 2 key cards, solving puzzles all the way. To get access to the prisoners, Arcano has to fight the security dominatrix standing in our way.
I ask the questions around here, boy. Who are you and what are you doing here?
Huh? Who are you?
I asked for your name, boy, not a fashion review. Now tell me who you are before I have to discipline you.
I could use some discipline.
So, you want to be a little boy toy, huh? Come to Mame, and I'll give you all the discipline you need.
And the overweight warden, which fights with his Goku-esque staff. With proper gear and equipment, this is the easiest of the missions. Just be prepared. With all 3 scientists, we can finally complete the hull drive and save humanity. But since this is episode 6 and not 7, there's another hiccup. With the Star Trek style, technological bullshit being thrown at us at warp speed, all I can ascertain is that something is stopping the hull drive from starting.
What kind of shape is it in?
We almost had her online, but we can't seem to fire up the macro cylinder module. Other than that, everything else seems to be in working order. It's incredible. This thing is a technological marvel.
Raz, punch up a schematic of the macro cylinder module.
Okay. Here it is, coming up on the main screen.
Ah, there's the problem. The cylinder's lost mass from age.
With nothing better to do than to stick our head between our legs and kissing our ass goodbye, Arcano decides to walk the streets, bribing orphans with bananas for information. Somehow this works. Sorta. After Arcano gets ripped off of his bananas, he's forced into chasing a child to the bad parts of town, with random encounters and thugs throwing knives everywhere. The kids stole our bananas, and these orphans are hiding in a ghost house. The bar owner is the only one that can give us a key. He wants us to kill the local gang to earn the key. So have fun with multiple fights against 4 to 8 enemies, each hit scanning you with throwing knives. This is tougher than any of the boss fights, including the super secret one later on. There's really nothing in this mission, it's very simple and kind of boring. Only having to collect key cards to progress. Not even a boss fight, unless you find him on the roof. Fighting the hidden super boss of this game. Silver. The random quiz guy we've been meeting is a super secret assassin and the hardest fight in the game. Unless... he explodes on death, so maybe leave a grenade for him. Arcano races an orphan called Cracker to prove he is the one. Dr. Marinus, the Hall Drive creator and one of the last travelers, dropping a massive cutscene on us, teaching Arcano about his origins as a traveler and how he is destined to save the world. Travelers are like Full Metal Panic characters with how their powers work, talking to each other with their minds, transferring information, even... well, we'll see that later. Now we get the answers for the entire series. The clones, becoming the workers and soldiers for the rich elites, the survivors that leave the planet on the Ark. The first game is all about surviving those experiments right before the facility is destroyed. With the ship about to take off, our villains finally showing themselves and their final plans. Arcano and Dr. Marinus combine their powers to restart the Hall Drive, but is it too late?
Don't move if you value your life. You both have so much to learn.
You will not take what's mine.
What? What's this? It looks like he's one of them. Oh, he is. We've got to stop him. We've got to.
Hayano ultimately launches the Shangri-La. Arcano, his crew, and the whole world are fighting to stop them before they leave orbit. With Shangri-La being the size of a country, Arcano and the crew have their work cut out for them, trying to stop it, especially after being separated. Now it's best to know where you're going more than anywhere else in the game, because randomly walking around will be costly, with soldiers repopulating the halls, draining resources with each re-entry. Especially dangerous since the main room has lasers constantly firing on you, taking away health. Let's just say this level is punishing. Save often. So let's start by making a left, entering the museum and talking to the test subjects after you turn on the power. If you're not using a walkthrough, this is the only way you'll learn about the objectives, specifically collecting the 8 divine plates and activating the elevator. But one thing at a time, let's get the divine plate here and cross this toxic bullshit again. For something more toxic, a maze. Traversing the maze for 3 divine plates hidden behind these pink lasers. Inside a forest preserve, and this is the room Raz's clone was preserved in, and it's a complete replication of the room from Overblood 1 in loving detail. And this is where we find our 4th divine plate. Now hopefully you've brought yourself a grenade launcher or have enough ammunition for your bazooka, because we gotta destroy 6 crystals of the same color in this room, while they're firing at us constantly. If you have enough ammo, destroy everything. Now we can unlock the elevator to go to the other floors, starting with going to the bridge, where there are 2 divine plates and a vicious instant death platforming section. The bridge is like this because Hayano was betrayed by the real villain of Overblood, Zeno Razzie.
And now, Mr. Hayano, if you're alive, the game really begins.
Don't forget the katana on your way out, if it doesn't blow you and itself up first. Now, going to the engine room, the easiest of all the locations. All we gotta do is glide across this gap and grab the last piece, and then to the divine room. With Hayano killed in the missile attack, our boy wants one last showdown.
Ha ha! So you're going to save the world? No more fighting? Well, it's too late for me to care.
What?
I don't care what happens to this world anymore. My master Ryuichi is dead, and so are his dreams. I was promised an important position when those dreams came true, but now that they will never be realized, I have no purpose. I have no reason to live, no reason to care.
Then step aside and let me through.
No, that's not in my nature, my synthetic nature. I was created to serve and fight. That is what kept me alive, so now I choose to test my worth against a formidable opponent like you.
Well, so much for reasoning with him.
In the only way I know how.
Too bad Arcano's powers as a traveler activate, and Hondo's transformation has no chance against it.
You've won. Now finish me off.
Kondo!
Get out of here! Go! Get out of here! Hurry up! Run! Run! Thank you, Arcano. Thank you. The kindness you showed me has allowed me to leave this world without the bitterness that I have lived with for so long while in it. Master, you were wrong. Your dream of a new world was based on cruelty. Mine is one of hope.
He still makes a heroic sacrifice to let us through, even though we have to turn right back in to go grab the last divine plate. If you forget any pieces or miss anything along the way, you'll have a long backtrack through this misery. The Overblood franchise was manipulated by Zeno Razel, so he can be the new ruler of what's left of humanity. With a ship capable of destroying the world in minutes, destroying cities at will.
And now, to celebrate this momentous occasion, I think fireworks are in order. Why don't I blow up a city? Now, where should I send my missiles? Maybe you can help me pick the lucky winning city. Let's see now. Where should I send them? Los Angeles? San Francisco? New York?
Using Shangri-La as negotiation power to steal Arcano's powers as a traveler, a true traveler. Stole his power from Arcano's sister, who he brainwashed and experimented on, until she committed suicide.
What are they? What's going on here?
You are looking at the future. These are artificial life forms I created using Traveler's blood. Each is an Overblood.
Overblood? I don't understand.
I was born in the laboratory. I was created from early synthetic DNA experiments and nurtured by the blood of your sister. I'm the first. The original Overblood.
My sister died for a creature like you.
Zeno the First, the original Overblood. Fucking title drop at the very end of the second game, the end of the franchise. Was all this Arcano and Zeno unleashed their full traveler powers, having a straight up Dragon Ball Z fight.
You dare to test my power? You shall pay for your insolence. You'll have to do better than that, young man, to affect me. Do you have it in you?
Still got more twists and turns. Zeno, in his last-ditch effort, sets Shangri-La to destroy the rest of the cities of Earth. And to stop him, Daniel Craig himself reveals himself to be the real Hayato, while the one that died was a clone of him, allowing us to fly Shangri-La into orbit to destroy it safely. But that's not as easy as it sounds. We still need to access the core to fight its guard dog. After defeating it and destroying the generator, Zeno decides to stop the crew using the virus from Overblood 1, to transform himself to stop Arcano in one last fight. After defeating Frieza's final form, Arcana is left behind in the engine room, meeting his sister in her Jedi spirit form, with her final words of encouragement for her big brother and showing him the way out of Shangri-La as it's going down, of course. One last Junk Blade escape sequence, like it's Resident Evil 4.
Full throttle, just for you, Nina!
After all this, we finally finished the buggy, poorly thought out mess being so bad it's good game franchise. Surprisingly, a fun, innovative, and one-of-a-kind game. I kinda always wanted to play this game, and I got to thanks to you guys subscribing. And it was an experience to say the least, but it's over, so if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and even watch the Gaming Brit Show for his classic videos on Overblood, and see you next... What the fuck is this? So there's a mechanic I've been hiding from you. The CP mechanic. A point system based on collecting items. Defeat an enemy, defeat a boss, destroy an item. I.e. shooting glass, blowing shit up. Extinguish a fire, burn something. Losing points from having game overs, using the hook shot, using a recovery item, reloading, and the use of instant plates. With special objectives gaining and losing points. With tiers, S through E, grading your performances. But why would I care, you ask in the comments? Well, after collecting 2000 CP, you get a final, secret, 8th level with an alternate ending. So guess what I did? I beat the game again and averaged over 286 points per level, meaning I S-graded every level but one. Fun fact for you, there's not even 300 points in some levels, so you really have to abuse every aspect I talked about. I even blew up shit the game didn't think I could, breaking every window, box, enemy, giant robot, while collecting every single item per stage, while never healing or dying, and having to use bomb jumps instead of hook shots and instant plates. It's fucking rough, but we did it for this. 3 rooms of fucking hell, taking place after the main story, repairing the air cooling machine before it blows, taking the city of West Edge with it. Going into the sewers under the church allows for us to pick any of the 3 playable characters. Room 1, swimming through robot traps, falling icicles, and invisible mines, with no ice shoes or gear, with death coming at any moment since everything is an instant kill. It's so savage and unreasonably hard, and just pure RNG. The room is absolute bullshit. Room 2 is a platforming hell tower with only a laser pistol and your Crash Bandicoot skills to get you through. Multiple floors that after shooting the switch get deleted, with the chance to delete all the platforms if you're unlucky. But that's not the worst of it. And surprisingly, neither is this. There are electrified and heated platforms that hurt to stand on. There are electrified and heated platforms that'll hurt you if you even think of standing on them. All that's left is the last room. A race up a continuously falling floor to get up high enough to jump on this MFC course. This part broke me. I can't make this jump no matter how hard I try. I even switched characters, hoping that would help, which means I beat all this twice, just to find out you can't jump on the right side because of this explosion. But after our experience with American Ninja Warrior, we repair the air cooling machine. The last ending feels like they're acknowledging that this game was a failure. This won't be the first or last time in gaming history where a company knew that they created bullshit. It feels like it's their way of destroying it all for a laugh. This was originally supposed to be a one giant video of Overblood 1 and 2. But after it took me another 15 hours to complete this game, I realized that it needed to be a part 2. So thank you guys sincerely for subscribing. I never thought I could even get 1,000 subscribers. And I hope more of you come along because I got other plans ahead. Thank you again.